we are Closet London. We are Closet London. Yeah, this is one of our mailing bags, and we primarily specialize in women's wear, right? And most of our women's wear is all made in London and designed in London in different factories that we don't own ourselves, but basically our partners that we've worked for a couple of decades in and around the East London community. This is our work area, as in our dispatch office, with 3 workstations at the moment, with each workstation with a PC and with a thermal printer. The A4 or bigger printers are really now almost obsolete to the task, as we are now primarily doing most of the work most of the printing via the thermal printers. We sell mainly dresses, tops, jumpsuits and trousers. We now have a new category, which is face masks to go with the times and to help with fighting the COVID pandemic, right? And so basically this is our work area. We have mailing bags. We have mailing bags, big and small, right? Most of our orders average 2 to 3 garments per order. And this is where we have most of our garments kept in picking locations. We have these pick locations that are just gray hard plastic, right? And each of our garments is packed individually. Each of our garments is packed individually, right? And each garment has a swing tag, which is tied on to the garment label with the barcode and the dress description, the EAN code, the size, and the color, and an internal model number. And we also have the same stuck outside each of the bags of the garments. So the garments already come from our factories, already packed and quality checked. So all it is we store the garments primarily just waiting to be sold online. These are all pick locations, right? In a warehouse that is the ceiling is 3.5 high, right? And so it allows 8 stacks, 8 boxes, a stack of 8 boxes, and then it goes all across, right? So we numbered our items. We labeled our items from A to H, and it's quite simple and straightforward, as in you've got odd numbers here, you've got even numbers on the other side, so that it makes picking, it makes the picking and the picking actions to be quite logical. 1, 2, 3, and it goes on across the length of the aisle. We were finding it very, very difficult to using the old system, the old inventory management system provided by Visual, to actually tidy up our own inventory, even without addressing orders, in the sense that doing an inventory moving garments from one location to another location was very, very slow. Basically, each scan would take at least 4 seconds for it to be put on board on the scanner, and then it would take, and then it could even also be stuck in processing on that database, so that it could even take easily 50 seconds just to move one garment, right?
Wow.
So with PVX now, everything is all instantaneous. You scan the item, it's all scanned. It's not even a question of even timing it. I mean, less than a second is scanned from, to, and as soon as you click, you confirm the move, it's all on there. And then you can even add a bit to just synchronize on the scanner, and it's all on board on everyone else's scanner, right? So that has helped a great deal. On each day, we start our work at 9:30, and we only work weekdays, Monday to Friday, right? So from 9:30, it's now quite an easy task to check how many orders are live on the system to be fulfilled, because with the former system, there were a few number of steps you had to do to literally load the orders on from the e-commerce platform, and then be able to actually be able to view them, right? Of which you didn't get a clear picture of whether everything was fully allocated or partially allocated, right? So each morning now, anyone can check the number of sales that are there, because you can see the undispatched orders, and then you have a number of the orders you're dealing with, the volume you're dealing with, and then after that. After you know that, you can easily plan the workforce around that. So if there are not too many orders, possibly one person can actually fulfill the orders, whilst the rest of the people actually tidy up the warehouse or tidy up the
cool, okay.
to actually prepare for any peaks on the orders. And especially like around this time of the year when traditionally you have Christmas, and not forgetting the big peak that comes with Black Friday pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that's what we are concentrating on. By us moving from the old system to PeopleVox around this kind of time, with or without the lockdown, has been perfect timing for us, because it's really, really made us, it's really, really given us the tools to prepare fully and effectively for Black Friday. Last year, when we had Black Friday, our sales were very high, but our fulfillment rate was very, very low. It was pretty bad because of the fact that we were finding it hard to move stock, one, and because of the fact that just the process itself of moving stock, say from one location where it's harder to reach, to put it somewhere closer because it's high selling or fast selling, was such a long process that it was almost like better off leaving it there and taking the stuff physically without actually addressing it on the system, which is very dangerous, because of the fact that when it's a busy period, you then find discrepancies, and if there's any lack of communication, it even becomes such a drag, because someone knows where something is and the other person doesn't know where it is, and at such a busy period, it's the last thing you need. Last Black Friday, we had 10,000 orders, right, between the Black Friday through to through the weekend onto Cyber Monday, right? 10,000 orders we had. It took us, though, 2 weeks, an additional 2 weeks to fulfill those orders because of the bottleneck that was created by the system's inefficiencies. Basically. And what even made things worse was that there was an unscheduled update that was done whilst we were in the middle of that unannounced. So it totally took us offline, whilst obviously our front end was still taking in orders. So our maximum output ended up being 120 orders a day around that time, because of the fact that I would say it was actually around about 250 orders a day, but over a much longer period, as in factoring in overtime, which then actually proved to be counterproductive, because you want to make more profits around that time, but then you are even paying even more for everyone to work even more. With PeopleVox, it's integrated to Scari, which is our shipping platform. Right? And it's also integrated into our front end, which is BigCommerce, which runs our website. Basically, normally we would get 75 orders, and they'll take us the whole day, as in from 9:30 to 5:30, to dispatch and fulfill and to clear out any issues that were happening, because with the old system, any issue that was happening would come with a specific error code that meant nothing to anyone else except the developers. Now, we are happily clearing 75 orders before midday.
Yeah.
We're getting packed before midday, happily, with even basically just one individual fulfilling them, when before we would have 4 members of staff, 2 picking, 2 trying to fulfill the orders, right? So efficiency wise, our efficiency has improved tremendously. The morale has greatly improved because of the fact that, so you see, it's, when you point out the positives, it's quite easy to be happy about them. When you look at, say, the negatives, say if there's ever anything that is not matching up, say if something is missing, now everyone can clearly understand and appreciate why it's missing, right? If it doesn't have a location on PeopleVox, right, it means that clearly it was never registered on PeopleVox. There are more gray areas, which has improved things greatly, because with the former system, what used to happen was that goods would still be reflected on the locations up until the goods were actually invoiced by the finance team, right? But with PeopleVox, the beauty of PeopleVox and the clarity you get from PeopleVox is that basically you know exactly where all your goods are, including the goods you've just sold. So if some goods have just been picked, you know exactly where they are, as in you can identify which basket or which trolley is being used by the picker, right? And if the picker is still out in the warehouse, you can find them and locate the goods. One, you can also locate if the items have been brought into the dispatch office and are sitting yet to be dispatched, you can easily locate them. If the items have just been dispatched and are sitting in a mailing bag and sitting in, say, a Royal Mail bag ready to be picked up, that you can also address. If they've just been picked up by Royal Mail, you can also address that, because you know that, well, this is the dispatch, that's your tracking number, and it was in the manifest. So you literally know where all your products are at any one time, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. The beauty of a system that works like a well-oiled machine like PeopleVox is that basically it literally works almost like as you've employed an extra employee. What that means then is that because of the massive efficiencies you benefit from with PeopleVox, right? I approached our CEO by letting him into the picture that basically, instead of us having 10 people to do a job, we would need half that amount to even to sort of like go through Black Friday or to go through a peak period, because of the fact that PeopleVox will be doing everything else in the background with no complications, one, and with no complex algorithms or calculation or any complex language behind it. It's in clear and plain, simple English. We've employed a few people from the agency, right? When we were, say for example, when we were busy registering and loading all the data onto PeopleVox, and it took them on average 40 minutes to go and get up to speed with the interface of PeopleVox on the barcode scanners that they were using, to understand that this is what they need to do, and they could easily monitor and double check their own work whilst on the go, as in if they were registering, they could see the count of what they were registering, so that they knew that they weren't over registering, they weren't over scanning anything, under scanning anything. So that was the brilliance of it. So when I approached our CEO, right, about really introducing PeopleVox, I got him to understand the fact that, one, our efficiency will tremendously improve. One, two, there will be no need to throw more manpower into the job, because of the fact that PeopleVox would make our work easier. That's one. The other thing being that when you have a unique identifier on the PVX database, of which in our case, or in most cases, is the EAN barcode, right? And it can't be repeated, it eradicates any instances where we were having with the old system, whereby we had things almost duplicated and or double represented, basically, right? And that's been showing now, because after we made the transition, some things came to light whereby we had some things that were physically in the warehouse environment, but were actually not on the website for sale, because of the fact that the old system was not exposing any discrepancies as clearly as we now have. So far, the e-commerce team, the merchandisers, are very happy because of the fact that they're now managing to get a clearer picture of how much stock we have without because of the PVX is more user friendly. So when they go on, when they log on PVX themselves, they're finding the ease of pulling reports such an advantage, because the reports are coming out so quickly. It's straight on onto Excel. The former system, what you had to do was you had to set so many criterias up front, and then after you've set them, you then had to extract the data onto Excel, but through a very, very cumbersome process, which half the time would fail. And then you had to restart the whole filtering process again and again. Unfortunately, the timing could not have been worse, because when we started with the implementation manager, Colin, when we started first going through the setup, going through the training, it coincided with the time when basically the whole of UK went into lockdown, right? And basically Colin and I, we actually still carried on with the training and the setup whilst we were in lockdown, basically, right? So we did as much as we could, but obviously I could not be, and none of the warehouse staff could not actually literally physically come into the building, into the warehouse to actually do the work and to label locations or to label stock or to receive stock or to even load anything on the barcode scanners. So we had to pause, and then we restarted again in when lockdown ended, right? Of which obviously there was so much backlog of so many other parts of the business to catch up on. So we only then restarted back up again in towards the end of July, right, to finish the setup and to start loading all the product in, right? And then we were up and running on the 21st of August. It would have been much earlier, but as our business is only a small part of the business at the moment, because we have a wholesale branch. We were also concentrating on trying to keep the wholesale branch afloat after reopening, after a lot of things were always postponed. But considering we started, we got back on board end of July, and then we're online on with live and everything on the 21st of August. I would say 3 weeks. It was good. As in, like, if I had nothing else on board on my plate, probably would have done it in a week. With my role, it's actually freed me up a great deal, because of the fact that e-commerce being a fast-moving business, and it has to be fast-moving because of the fact that it's B2C, your consumers do not want to know anything that's happening in the background or anything like that, because all they see is the beautiful, glitzy, front-end website.
Yeah, the marketing,
Exactly. And the marketing is always spot on and everything. So once they click that button on a Sunday evening, as they're sipping their wines and stuff like that, right? In their loungewear, all relaxed. The last thing they want, all they want to hear is on Monday, an email confirming that their goods have been dispatched,
Yeah.
and they'll get them either Tuesday or Wednesday. Full stop, right? So basically, that has really now become more of a reality for us than before. Because before we had to work so hard to simply achieve the simplicity of e-commerce business, right? As in to just make sure that the goods leave the next day, kind of thing. The customer orders in the evening normally, and they get their fulfillment emails or anything like that the next day. Basically, now we are happily doing that with ease, basically, and I'm now less involved in just the simple day-to-day fulfillment of any simple, straightforward order. Basically, any order comes in, I'm not involved in the picking of it or the fulfilling of it, right? I only get involved if there's any big issues with any product that is, multiple products that have any issues, and basically my team can't handle, of which now any issues that we were encountering straight after we went live, I have been able to quickly train my staff so that they can address them, because beauty of PVX, no complexity. Basically, it's either you have a few almost like set issues, right? If you can then say, well, if you have this issue, well, most of the issues you can either have to do with, say, a product, right? Say a product is missing. Why is it missing? Well, the stock must be showing in the front end, and it must also be showing on PeopleVox, right? If that's not the case, that's the only time you've got a problem, right? So that's how those are the only problems we address. So basically, if for some reason someone has manually tweaked some stock in the front end, then we have to address that by trying to see if we can accommodate that or not, if we can get more goods made.
Yeah.
With the old system, it was always difficult to address any issues that had, because with the old system, it allowed weirdly negative amounts. So for me, that just screams alarm bells. If a location can go into negative, that means that you've got a bottomless supply of product. You cannot supply -2 dresses. Yeah. So that has been knocked on the head straight away, basically, because from my past experience using PeopleVox, I knew for a fact that it would not tolerate that kind of nonsense whereby, well, a location, if it doesn't have anything, it should say 0 items in stock. It shouldn't say 20.
Yeah.
That's just bonkers. I mean, my approach has been with the e-commerce businesses, right? The aim and the success of an e-commerce business is judged on whether you can supply the product to the customer, and whether you can supply it on time, right? Because if you cannot supply the product, you're already in deep trouble, right? If you can't supply it on time, what that means is your customer is simply going to go somewhere else. Full stop. That's the end of it, right? And especially in the sphere we are in, the industry we are in, which is fashion, it's pretty much cutthroat, right? There are millions brands that literally occupy any part of the market, luxury, mid-range, high street, or as cheap as you want, right? Yeah, there's a million of them in all the brackets, right? So basically, if you cannot produce the product and produce it on time, you're out of the game. Simple as. So how you do that is you totally forget any complexities at all, basically. You do not complicate anything whatsoever, right? You keep it simple, such that basically the quickest time you can reach from seeing the order on your screen from the front end to getting it in your mailing bag, beautiful. That's it, basically, because then you're looking for the next order and the next order and the next order. Before you know, basically your Trustpilot and whatever your reviews, will first base it on the promptness of your order getting there, one. Two, then they start looking at your product. But once you've got the speed, people are happy days, right? The product is normally guaranteed, because most of the time, if you're going to set up a website, you're actually selling something substantial. Yeah. So that's just the beauty of it. So if I went to another company and it's taking more than 5 minutes to simply pick a dress or any whatever item, right? And it's not being picked in reasonable time, and it's not being fulfilled in reasonable time, and it's not being fulfilled in the simplest way possible, right? I would then say, well, PVX need to move in. Your warehouse staff, you do not want them to struggle or to find the job stressful. They end up finding the job stressful, then basically it becomes an expensive process, basically, right? And it doesn't work, it doesn't help with the morale, right? Because you want people to be proud of where they are working. And basically, if they're fulfilling the orders super quick, the business is making money quicker and everything, right? Customers are a certainty, right? They're gonna come.
It's all linked, isn't it?
More revenue, yeah, more revenue, and then before you know it, the business becomes a success. Yeah,
it's a lot cheaper to stop having to hire new warehouse team members, because if they're happy, they stay. It's also a lot cheaper to keep your customers happy and keep them coming back, rather than spend it all on the marketing to acquire new customers, only to let them down if you're slow as well.
Exactly. And then not to mention the amount of work customer service would have to do, because of the fact that you've got a truckload of emails of irate customers saying, where are my goods, basically. Especially in this age of instant gratification and all that. Yeah. When everyone knows now that you don't even need to move a muscle, you don't even need to leave your house to go to McDonald's or to Burger King or KFC or any amazing restaurant that you might go to, Ollie, right?
Ollie, yeah.
Uber it and it'll be there. Yeah. Same as
that's the same with clothing and gym wear and everything. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. If they can PVX their goods, basically, and they're there, even better. Yeah. Even better.
We need to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Uneventful days are the
beautiful days.
Oh yeah, exactly. As long as the orders are going out, I'm happy. Yeah, the fewest number of times people come to me to query about orders, I'm a happy man. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome, Dave. Thanks for showing us around. Is there anything else that we should see?
No, I think you've seen enough. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Cool. Nice. Thank you, guys.